Howdy, fellas. Wonderful morning today. Wanted to talk about the differences. People just say, first gen, second gen, third gen, fourth gen. Yeah, that's a body style, right? But I'd like to break it down a little deeper, and specifically talking about the fourth gen, and specifically talking about the benefits of them. I don't want to pull stuff out of thin air. I have not had the early fourth gens. My fourth gen prime experience would be a 13 and up. That'd be about it. So what I wanted to talk about is which of the fourth gen should you buy. Funny that you could. Funny that they're different. A lot of people don't know that. The way it looks, the way it drives, more or less drives the same. But when you're nitpicking like myself, and you're picking at everything, and you want to watch the gauges all the time, like one would guess, the 17s and the 18s are the best. Nothing dramatic, but a guy like me could appreciate it very much. So the way I would characterize it and put it, it's not because it fits the bill so well, like I can break it. So from 13 to 18, it's three groups for me. 13, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys. So here you go. 13 and 14's got that dual radiator. That just doesn't add up to anything. It sounds good. You put 1 plus 1, you get 2. That's more than just 1. But I'm not seeing a difference, guys. What I am seeing is them stupid plastic white pipes cracking. Most of the time, it's not even the white pipe. It's the one-time clamp, the plastic clamp that they have on those things, and they're just bogus. That's one thing I don't like about that generation, 13s and 14s. And keep in mind, I drive a 14 daily. Now, also the 14. Now, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. On the transmission side, it's the transmission is the slowest to shift out of all three groups. So 13, 14 is one group, 15, 16 is the other group, and 17 and 18 is another group. And I'm breaking it down for you guys, and why I'm breaking it down. Specifically why I broke it down into two year increments is what I'm breaking down for you here. 13, 14, as I said, the white pipe and the tuning, the engine and the transmission. They're not going to leave you inside of the road. They're not going to grenade your engine. They're just not so fine tuned, so therefore makes a slower of a vehicle. You got that dead pedal off as you're rolling up to a stop, and you haven't stopped your truck. This thing really doesn't engage unless you come to a complete stop, or you just give it half throttle and wait for a second, then it all of a sudden takes off on you. The manuals are a lot more dramatic. It seems like that system interferes a lot more with the manuals. I don't know why, but I hated it. When my truck was stock, I hated it because I'm rolling through a stop or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't have to be a stop. It's an uncontrolled intersection. Left, right, everything's clear. I want to get going, but this thing ain't giving me nothing. And then all of a sudden it takes off, and didn't move the throttle at all. Sometimes it's longer than a second, and it almost causes a guy like me that has everything so planned out and so timed to the last millisecond. It's like when I hit that gas pedal, I want to go. Don't give me a second or two. And I understand the intentions that they had, the safety margins and whatever they got in mind, but you guys are getting the drift. I've upset a few people, get in the front of them and not going for a second or two, and then all of a sudden I take off. So that's not good. Underline the transmission one more time. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just slow to shift. It's not as refined. It's not as quick. Doesn't overheat. You have no reliability issues. You just got Polly-Wally nitpicking at it. And shoot, who doesn't want a quicker transmission? Chrysler's a quicker transmission than Aisin. And I'm specifically talking about Aisins. I forgot to mention that. What I'm comparing here is specifically Aisin, Cummins, from 13 through 18. What are the differences? Is probably the way I'm going to name the title of this video. So that's it. Engine. Oh, I didn't mention the engine. The engine, It's a simple one, but the cooling fan doesn't kick in time. I know it has a low setting and it has a high setting, but yeah, it really doesn't use that low setting much until it's too late. It goes low and then jet engine sound high, you know. Once again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's late and could cause you overheating issues. Not that it ever caused us overheating issues, but you know what I'm saying. Why wait till the temps go way high and then hear that fan, you know? Let's go to the 15s and 16s. 15s and 16s don't have the dual radiator. I'm talking about the engine coolant radiator. They just have a single radiator, so they eliminated those two white pipes. Those white pipes, some of you definitely see the upper ones, but not all you guys see the lower ones. You gotta, you know, put one and one together. If coolant comes in, it has to come out. It'll be on the passenger side, on the bottom there, towards the bottom, if you ever want to look for it. But anyways, they pulled out the white pipe. The 15s and 16s, you know, they still had that's all they did, really. I can't say tuning is better or worse. It's all, I believe, 15s, 16s alone. You know, they're not a whole lot of an upgrade over the 13 and 14s. Now, the 17s and 18s, you know, y'all gonna bombard me and say, oh, you didn't mention the torque numbers. Yeah, they're there. I wouldn't notice it. I wouldn't notice. I wouldn't say there's a difference, really. You know, no, I take that back. There's a slight difference. When you're pulling grades in fifth gear, it seems like 15s and 16s pull out harder in fifth gear. But then there's the catch. You know, they don't turn on their fans on time, so they end up heating up as well. So that's that. You know, 17s and 18s, guys. That's what you want. Not because it's the newest, it's brand new, but that's what you want. You know, cooling, the timing on the cooling fan is on par. You know, the transmission shifts quicker, softer at times. You know, it's a more refined truck. Sadly, I mean, one would think so, but sadly not. We don't always get that as the end consumers. You know, and I respect Ram, Cummins, and aisin for doing that. You know, keep working on their product and like. I hate bringing this up, it's way off subject, but like Mercedes, you know, you get a product and that's it. They're really not 100% that's it, but in rare cases, do they upgrade or change something? And I know it's not a car channel, but you guys get my point. I respect Cummins and Ram for doing that. Just keep upgrading and so that's all I got to share with you guys. If one of you guys are out there searching and thinking what's the difference, you know, primarily for the Cummins and the aisin, that's the difference. You know, I absolutely love the 17s and 18s because, you know, you got coolant temps that are like 185, 189. As soon as it gets into the 190, then you gotta think, oh, you know, kicking on, blowing some cool air on the engine, and that thing is right back to right under 190. You know, shoot, that thing crosses 200s. It's in high mode, you know, and it's a night and day difference, you know. I absolutely love that tuning. So yeah, keep it simple and short, underline as much as I can. So highlight, recap, 13s and 14s, they got that coolant white pipe that's gonna crack on you once 100,000, and the tuning is just nothing wrong with it. It's just not as refined, you know. You're not gonna get as quick of a truck. You're not gonna get as you guys get it. So 15s and 16s, they pulled out the white pipe. As I said, slight chances, slight difference. I do remember pulling harder out of town. We have the Sunset Hill that you got to pull out of town, and I was pretty impressed that I could pull, what is it, I think it was an 8,000 or 9,000 pound load in fifth gear, and for a stock truck, that impressed me a lot. I know I couldn't do it with my 14s, but anyways. So anyways, that's it for the 15s, 16s, 17s are refined. You know, they stay cooler, they run quicker, the transmission just runs quicker. The shift's a little different, and an average Joe will notice the transmission. I believe an average Joe will notice the transmission shifting smoother and quicker. I don't know about the cooling and whatnot, but I just noticed it, and I'm sharing it with you guys. So anyways, that's the recap, and as always, you boys have a mighty fine day and behave out there.